Alright, let's talk about this. It's 2006. Think about it. We were all still renting DVDs that came in those little red envelopes. It was a whole thing. You'd make your list, wait by the mailbox, and hope you got the movie you actually wanted. Netflix was huge, but they had a big question. How could they know what movie you wanted to watch next? They had this system, this computer program called Cinematch. It tried its best, you know? It looked at what you watched and said, hey, you liked Finding Nemo? Maybe you'll like this other fish movie. But it wasn't perfect. It was good. But Netflix wanted it to be great. They wanted it to be so good it was like your best friend was picking movies for you. So what do you do when you have a really hard problem? You get the whole world to help you solve it. Netflix came up with this amazing idea. They announced the Netflix Prize. And get this, they put up a grand prize of $1 million, $1 million bucks. All you had to do was create a new recommendation system that was at least 10% better than their Cinematch. That's it. It sounds simple, right? Just make it a little bit better. But that 10% was a huge mountain to climb. It was like trying to make your fastest friend run just a little bit faster. It's the hardest part. Netflix was basically saying, hey, smart people of the world, we dare you. To make this whole thing possible, Netflix did something pretty wild. They couldn't just have people guessing in the dark. So they released a giant set of data. And when I say giant, I mean giant. It was 100 million movie ratings. That's right, 100 million. This data came from about 480,000 anonymous customers and covered nearly 18,000 different movies. They removed all the personal information, of course, so it was all just numbers and movie titles. It was like a treasure chest for data scientists. They had never seen anything like it. This was the secret sauce, the ingredients everyone needed to start cooking up a better recommendation engine. The goal was clear beat Cinematch by 10%. This wasn't just about the money, though $1 million is, pretty cool. For Netflix, this was about making their service stickier. They knew that if they could perfectly suggest your next favorite movie, you would never leave. You'd keep that subscription forever. It was a brilliant business move, disguised as a super fun global competition. It was a way to crowdsource genius. Instead of hiring one team of smart people, they invited every smart person on the planet to join the party. And believe me, people showed up. The race was officially on. As soon as the competition started, things got crazy. Fast. It was like the starting gun at a marathon, but for nerds. And I say that with love, you guys are the coolest. Within just 1 week, a team had already built an algorithm that was better than Cinematch. 1 week, can you believe that? And within a month, another team had already achieved a 3.88% improvement. People were making progress, and they were making it quickly. It seemed like that 10% goal was just around the corner, that someone was going to cash that $1 million check in no time. The whole world was watching, and the energy was electric. But then, things started to slow down. Getting those first few percentage points was the easy part. Every little bit after that got harder and harder. It was like trying to squeeze the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. After that initial burst of excitement, the progress hit a wall. For 2 long years, nobody could reach that magic 10% number. People from all over the world were trying. We're talking over 20,000 teams from 150 different countries. Everyone from university professors to stay-at-home hobbyists was downloading that data and trying to crack the code. It was a massive global effort. The problem was more complicated than anyone first thought. It wasn't just about math. It was about people. And people are weird. Our tastes change all the time. One day you're in the mood for a serious drama, the next day you just want to watch a silly comedy with Adam Sandler, right? Your mood changes, you watch a trailer, a friend tells you about a movie, all these things affect what you want to see. The algorithms couldn't easily predict the human heart. It was a psychological puzzle as much as it was a mathematical one. How do you teach a computer to understand something as random and personal as movie taste? Despite how hard it was, something really cool started happening. The competition wasn't just a competition, it became a community. Netflix set up an online forum where all the teams could talk. And they did. People shared their ideas, their code, and their frustrations. They would post about what worked and what didn't. Instead of keeping all their secrets, they were helping each other get better. It was a totally new way of doing things. It was like all these brilliant minds decided that the best way to win was to work together, at least a little bit. This collaborative spirit was one of the most surprising and amazing parts of the whole story. After a couple of years of everyone hitting that same wall, the strategy started to change. Teams realized that no single idea was going to be enough to get them over the finish line. One person's algorithm might be really good at predicting what you'd think of comedies, while another's was great with action movies. So, what did they do? They started teaming up. It was like in the movies when all the superheroes have to join forces to beat the big bad guy. They formed these super teams, combining their different approaches into one mega algorithm. It was brilliant. The competition was now between these giant, powerful collaborations. Two major super teams rose to the top. The first was a group called Belcour's Pragmatic Chaos. What a name, right? It sounds like a rock band. This team was a mix of researchers from ATAN-DT Labs, a couple of other data scientists, and they were the front runners for a long time. They were the ones to beat. The other major team was called the Ensemble, which is a perfect name for a team that, is an ensemble. They were another powerful mashup of different top-performing teams who decided to join forces near the very end of the competition to try and snatch the prize. The tension was building. The final days of the competition were absolutely wild. It was down to the wire. On June 26, 2009, almost 3 years after the contest started, the team Belcour's Pragmatic Chaos did it. They finally crossed the 10% threshold. Their final submission was an incredible 10.09% better than Cinematch. They had done it. They had climbed the mountain. But here's the crazy part. They weren't the only ones. Just 20 minutes after Belcour submitted their winning result, the Ensemble submitted their own solution. And guess what? They also got a 10.09% improvement. It was a photo finish, decided by minutes. Because Belcour's Pragmatic Chaos got their submission in first, they were declared the official winners. On September 18, 2009, they were awarded that giant $1 million check. Can you imagine the celebration? Their winning formula wasn't just one simple trick, it was a massive, complex system that blended 104 different algorithms together. It used a neural network to manage all of them, letting each one do what it did best. It was a masterpiece of collaboration and complexity. They didn't just find one key, they built a whole keychain. And with that, the legendary Netflix prize competition was over. So, what happened after the big check was handed over? Did Netflix just plug this winning algorithm into their website and call it a day? Well, not exactly. The winning solution was so complex and so massive that it was actually too difficult to put into practice on their live website. But that didn't matter. The competition was still a huge success for Netflix. Why? Because of everything they learned along the way. They didn't just get one solution, they got thousands of new ideas and techniques from all the teams that participated. It was like getting a PhD in recommendations in just 3 years. The real prize for Netflix wasn't that final winning code, it was the massive boost in technology and knowledge. The competition completely changed how they thought about recommendations. They hired some of the brilliant people from the contest and built a whole new system from the ground up, using the best ideas that came out of the prize. This led to the super smart recommendation engine we all use today. You know when you log in and Netflix just knows you want to see that new documentary or that silly reality show? A lot of that magic can be traced right back to this competition. It helped make Netflix the powerhouse it is today. But the impact of the Netflix prize went way beyond just Netflix. It showed the entire world the power of open competitions. It proved that if you have a big enough problem and a good enough prize, you can get the smartest people from all corners of the globe to work on it. This idea inspired so many other companies and organizations to launch their own grand challenges to solve problems in medicine, science, and technology. It kicked off a whole new era of data science and machine learning. It made data science cool. It showed what was possible when you combine big data with big brains. So, the next time you're scrolling through Netflix trying to find something to watch, take a second to think about this story. That list of movies and shows that seems like it was made just for you is the result of a massive global race, thousands of brilliant minds, and $1 million idea. The competition proved that a little bit of friendly rivalry and a whole lot of collaboration can change everything. It's the reason why finding a great movie is now as easy as a single click. And that, my friends, is a story with a very happy ending for movie lovers everywhere.